What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. I, of course, am at Edward Raus, and this is at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter weekend, or if you're celebrating Passover weekend. I know I had a lot of fun. We had 30 people at my house yesterday, and I was making 2 legs of lamb and a whole bunch of food for everybody. We had like 3 Easter egg hunts for all the kids. My goodness. It was a long day, but well, worth it. So I hope happy post Easter ranters. There you go. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend like I did. A lot, man, and I mean a lot going on yesterday. You had the Masters, you had the final day of the NBA season, you had baseball, you had NASCAR. You had so much going on yesterday while you're trying these Easter festivities. It was insane. I was trying to watch everything, cook. It was nuts, but I got it all in. Plus, we had a great UFC fight on Saturday night. We'll talk about that with Thomas Stevens when he comes on later. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T Soto, who's on with me tonight as well. We have a lot to talk about. So here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to run through my sweats. We're going to go through the remaining games on the MLB slate tonight, who I like, who I don't like. Then we'll do my rant lines. Then I'm going to preview the NBA playoffs. We're going to do the bracket that they have on NBA.com. We're going to fill it out all the way to the championship, who I think is going to win, and how many games I think. It'll be a lot of fun doing that. Then we have Rant on the Street with Thomas Stevens, talk about UFC, then the 5 questions you have asked over the week. And followed at the end, we're going to do a Believe It or Not, an oldie but goodie on Monday Night Rants, Believe It or Not, where I give you the hot players in fantasy baseball, and I tell you if I believe it or not going forward to the end of the season. So big show, big night, baseball going on everywhere. I'm sure you're watching baseball, listening to me as well, and hopefully having a good night recovering from the long Easter weekend that you may have had. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Currently right now in the MLB, there are already games starting early today. We have 5 games already started. The New York Yankees are up 2-1 over Cleveland and Shane Bieber. Oakland and Baltimore 2-1. Baltimore, a big Mount Castle bomb I just watched a little while ago. If you have Mount Castle in your fantasy teams, he's off to a great start. Love to see that. Houston 4-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are who we thought they were. That's about what you expect there with a Valdez versus Contreras pitching matchup. So everything is cool there. And Miami and Philadelphia 0-0, and Boston, the Red Sox at the undefeated 9-0 Tampa Bay Rays. Will they ever lose? Are they going to go 162-0? Are they? Probably not. But I must say, I'm very, very impressed with their pitching staff and their offense to start this season, and a little worried if I was fans of other teams in the AL East, because it's looking like Tampa Bay is the real deal this year. So let's jump into some of the bets of the remaining games and who I like and what I see. Right now at about, 5 minutes, my San Diego Padres are in New York facing the New York Mets. This is a rematch game of the wild card where the Joe Musgrove and the Eargate, where the Mets probably have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They do have Max Scherzer on the mound tonight against Yu Darvish. The Padres right now, it sits at -135 for the home team. The Mets. Only 56% of the public on that, which I found kind of interesting because as a betting man, I would actually take the Mets in this game tonight. The Padres have been hot. They just came off a really good series in Atlanta. 3-1 in a 4-game series. They won. The first time Atlanta's won or lost 3 games in a row at home in a long time, too. Incredible there for the Padres after kind of a rocky start. But the Mets have been playing better lately after everyone kind of panicked after the first series. We get it. But a betting man, smart betting man would take Scherzer and the Mets tonight if I had to at the -135. Although go Padres. There you go. Speaking of Atlanta, they're at home again tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. It's 190. Bryce Elder, for the Braves. And Graham Ashcroft, who's off to a pretty good start this year for the Cincinnati Reds. 27% thinks the Reds have no chance in this game, as in 73% for the Atlanta Braves. Under minus 200 at minus 190. I'm going to take half my normal bet, aka a unit, half a unit, or half what you would normally bet on a game, and put it on the Reds going against the public in this one. Seattle and Chicago at Chicago. Drew Smiley for Chicago against Luis Castillo. 61% minus 150 for Seattle away at Wrigley Field. Interesting kind of matchup here. Chicago's kind of surprised some, and Marcus Stroman has been playing or pitching out of his mind first two games, but we've seen this before with Marcus Stroman. Obviously, the Mariners have the better team here, but at 61% at minus 150 and a home team plus 130 in Chicago, I may take the Cubs, and that's what I'm going to do. Boom, put on the board. I'm taking the Cubs at plus 130 tonight, kind of going against the public with a home team that's, only a minus 150 for Seattle. I kind of like the Cubs in this direction. Kansas City at Texas. Texas off to that really hot start. Not so much anymore. Zach Greinke and Andrew Heaney matchup that we all wanted to see. Minus 175 for Texas. 64%. I'm taking the Royals. Plus 150 on the road. It's a good value there for the Royals. I'm taking Greinke and the Royals in Texas. St. Louis versus Colorado. Plus 120. Finally, DFS. Yay. In Colorado, which means everybody is stacking the Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Not me, though. I kind of don't think that quite works as it used to, but plus 120 for Colorado at home, minus 140 for the St. Louis Cardinals. It currently sits at 56% of the public on the Cardinals, which makes sense. You do have Steven Matz versus Herman Marquez, who pitched great in the opener against the Padres. It's been pretty serviceable for a long time there in Colorado. So this one's kind of on the fence with. Obviously, the better offense goes to St. Louis. But in Colorado, anything can happen. I'm going to take the plus 120. It's close enough to find value there as well. Here you go. This is where Heavy T is going to hate me here. At Angel Stadium, Jose Suarez and the Angels are minus 250 favorites against the Nationals, plus 210. Again, such a huge spread. It's hard to put everything you can in that basket. Patrick Corbin, the so-called ace for the Washington Nationals. Plus 210 there for Washington. Take a half a unit. Take a half what you would normally bet on a game. Put it on Washington, see if it sticks. Milwaukee at Arizona. Arizona just running over the bases. Stolen bases like crazy. Big win over the Dodgers. Zach Gallen, their ace, going up against Wade Miley, not the ace of Milwaukee. Say 61% at plus 120 for Milwaukee. I say nay. Take the favorites, minus 140. Arizona at home tonight. Believe in Zach Gallen and those strikeouts. Dodgers at the Giants. It isn't what it used to be. Let me tell you that. But it was fun over the weekend watching Clayton Kershaw pitch against Madison Bumgarner. Kind of brought back some old time feels, if you know what I mean. 69% of the Dodgers minus 155 favorites over Logan Webb and the Giants. Again, a close one at home. The Giants, the Dodgers, not impressed. I'm going to go with the Giants at home at plus 135 and take some value there. So there you go. Those are the bets I'm doing for the rest of the night as far as just straight money lines. Just who's going to win? Take your value where it is. I always like to take especially in baseball, you half your normal bet and you take it on the big underdogs because nobody wins every game in baseball and nobody loses every game in baseball. Your odds are there forever in your favor. So that's how I see tonight go. Also, what I started doing, and this got really big like a year or two ago, and everyone's been doing it. It's like the new hip thing, I guess, is the Nerfy or the Yerfy. What that means is no runs first inning or yes runs first inning. And what you're doing pretty much is you're betting on only the first inning if there's going to be runs or not. It doesn't matter which team. It could be any team. Scores a run, and if you say yes, there's going to be a run, you win. So it's kind of like 6 outs, see where you stand and see how it works. So I've been dabbling in it over the weekend. And I did my better bet today in the newsletter, and I lost. That's my first loss so far, and I'm sorry. I can't win them all. But my stats were there. And Shane Bieber, come on. You would have thought that would have happened. But hey, it is what it is. So I'm going to start doing these every Monday, doing like a nerfy of the day. And we'll start to see if we can come up with some sort of strategy or actually to make this win and work, because I kind of like it. Just first inning, that's it. And then your bet's over. You either won or you lost. So some of the things that you want to look for in these is the starting pitchers are really important, because you don't have to worry about a bullpen, because if you do, then you're in trouble. You already lost. It's the first time against the order. So maybe in this situation at home, you may want to count on batter versus pitcher stats on who's like the first three in the lineup against them. There's so many things you could do to try to make some value out of these nerfy picks, or Yerfy if you want to go that they will score a run. Like if you have two long relievers starting a 6-game because you're going to get rest, you may want to take there will be a run in the first inning, if you know what I mean. So you want pitchers that avoid base runners, obviously low whips, high strikeout rates because you need those easy outs. And we need low home run rates from pitchers, because you don't want to give up that first inning home run, because that's automatic. So looking at that, the Bieber matchup tonight looked good, and I thought it was a good start there, but we'll get better at it as we go forward here on Monday Night Rants and finding the best nerfy bets for you each and every Monday as baseball continues. So the nerfy. And by the way, when I get really obsessed with something, I find ways to win. So I'm going to be obsessed with this to make sure I have a strategy that is a winning, profitable strategy, just like I do with college basketball and all that. So, yeah, there you go. The nerfy. Get used to that. The nerfy here on Monday Night Rants. All right. It's time for the rant lines. Like I said, huge weekend of sports. UFC, NASCAR, baseball, big NFL free agency news hitting again. Like NBA season ending, kind of exactly how we thought it would. Real quick, though, I do want to talk. I did see this. I saw this video, and this is just on the top of my head because I forgot to add it to my notes, but I wanted to talk about the Dallas Mavericks real quick, just real quick. The NBA is actually investigating them to see if they tanked to not make my favorite thing in the world, the play-in tournament. And I'm like, well, I don't know if they would do that because they're not really in a good spot to tank to get a better draft pick by 2. Like, it doesn't make sense. And plus, it's kind of a weak NBA draft year. More on that as that gets closer, and I'll explain why, compared to last year, which was a great NBA draft year. So I'm like, I don't know. And I started looking at some of these videos of Mark Cuban as they're missing shots, smirking. And I'm going, and I'm seeing them blow the lead and in the fourth quarter, and I'm going, maybe they did. Maybe they said, nah, man, this play-in tournament's stupid. Let's just get out of this season, figure out what we're doing with Kyrie, figure out if Luka even wants to stay here anymore or if he's happy, and figure it out. It's kind of what I got from it. So maybe they did tank to not make the playoffs. Justin Watson said, just messaged you. My bad. Didn't know you were live. Go Dubs, baby. Well, J-Dub, Isaac Grove says, hey, what's up, Isaac Grove? Hey, J-Dub, longtime listener. Good to see you back on the show, baby. We're going to be doing a whole NBA playoff kind of run through here at the bottom of the hour. So please stay tuned for that as well. Wait, Tavares says, is that I'm happy we're losing or damn we added Kyrie and got worse? Smirking. That is funny. And true. Isaac Grove said, well done on your live stream. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for joining Monday Night Rants here with us. So I think looking at the videos again, they may have not have tanked, but they were okay with the outcome, if that makes sense. That's kind of the way I look at it. So we'll see how Dallas reloads over the offseason, and they're going to need a lot of reloading and some chemistry there, and maybe some defense. We'll see. Oh, Isaac. Okay, that's obviously Heavy T. am I getting spammed in the chat? That's funny. Hey, the first ever spammer. Welcome to Monday Night Rants here. He wants to whisper something with me. Hey, it's a family show. All right. I got spammed, everybody. Woo! Spam bots galore. Yeah, let's go. That deserves. All right, let's get to the NFL real quick. I just jumped off the deep end there with Dallas, but I thought it was kind of interesting what I saw the weekend. So yes, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. is going to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we have talked about Lamar ad nauseum here on Monday Night Rants, and still nobody knows what he's thinking, what he wants to do. Obviously, I know what he wants to do. He wants the money. He wants to get paid like an MVP and a number one quarterback. That's fine. And obviously, he's at a standstill with Baltimore because or else he'd be signed or wouldn't have requested a trade. And I know I saw the video of him and OBJ last night partying at the club. You know, by the way, is that a good look when you're trying to get money? Come on, Lamar. So is that enough? Is OBJ at his point 2 ACLs? Yeah, he was coming on strong at the end of his tenure with the Rams towards the Super Bowl. We know. But is it enough to persuade Lamar to stay without having to pay him the money that he wants? And enough of this, oh, they finally have a number one wide receiver. Odell Beckham hasn't played football in over a year. Is he a number one receiver? And the one team that doesn't throw to receivers? The one quarterback who doesn't throw? Well, I know, Edward, but that's because they don't have any receivers. They did. They do. He likes his tight ends better. I don't know if it's enough. Obviously, they're friends, and they were out partying last night to the crack of dawn. But I don't know. I still think a part of me thinks it's still a long gap there in what he wants compared to what the Ravens are willing to give him, if that makes sense. And like we still haven't got this Aaron Rodgers saga over with too. It's like obviously the Jets want him. He even just pretty much told Green Bay, I'm out. And still, we have no idea what's going to happen. No, I think during the draft, I think that'll all get taken care of. And I say to Rodgers, good luck on your I want to be Brett Favre tour. That's what I say to him. But the Odell Beckham is just not enough to convince Lamar to stay in Baltimore and not get the money that he wants. I'd still trade him if I'm Baltimore. I'd get the value I can from an abundance of teams at this point. Too much. Also yesterday, if you missed, which I hope you did not because it was fantastic. Better Boss says, you will not find Odell Beckham on any of my fantasy teams this season. Mine neither. Stay away. Stay away. It's a trap. For sure. Jon Rahm won his first green jacket at the Masters in really dominating fashion. Now, I watched the final round with my father-in-law and family, and towards the end, he won in dominating fashion. And kudos to him, by the way. I like him as a golfer. He's always in my DFS lineups, except for this week. Can't win them all, Edward. Can't win them all. But Brooks Koepka, who literally fell apart yesterday, instead of giving kudos to Jon Rahm, he said, no. He told reporters he was frustrated at the pace of play of the two in front of him that slowed him down as an excuse for why he didn't play well. A, it's the Masters. And Heavy T was telling me he said something like Jon Rahm went to the bathroom like 7 times during the round, which we're like, what is it, like a porta potty on every hole? Which probably is, but that's crazy. So instead of saying kudos to you, my friend, no, I fell apart because Hovland and Cantlay in front of me was too slow. Be better, Brooks. Be better. Jon Rahm was dominating. And by the way, he's also in the same group you are. You're paired together. It didn't seem to bug him. Maybe you should have peed 7 times. Regardless, shout out to Jon Rahm. Brooks, sore loser. Come on. Also, last night was the annual, now it's a new thing in NASCAR, the dirt race at Bristol. It is fun to watch a dirt race. Yes, they are stock cars on dirt. They do drift. Half-a-mile track at Bristol. They put about a couple feet of dirt on top of it. There were some issues with the dirt last night, and very, very disappointed with the crowd for something like this. But they put it on Easter. Who's going to go to see a dirt race in Bristol in Tennessee on Easter? So it makes a lot of sense. And at night. At least do it like earlier in the day so they can still have their dinners. It's fun. But overall, the race was decent. At first, it's exciting because you always think when you first start watching it that they're going to spin over because they start drifting, but then they never do. But at the very end, shout out to Christopher Bell for his win. He makes the playoffs. And my boy, Ryan Blaney, who, by the way, at the last caution, was in the front row, got spun out 23rd. Another disappointing day for me as a Blaney fan. And again, we haven't even gotten to everything that happened yesterday. There's still more. It's been crazy. Crazy Easter day in sports, for sure. Rudy Gobert. Oh, yeah. What are we going to do with this guy? You saw Rick Kamla short on our YouTube earlier. That's at Better Network on YouTube or on Twitter at Better Network. He talks about how the Rudy Gobert trade could be maybe one of the worst trades of all time. I agree. Can't punch your teammates. I don't care what he called you. It's a bad look. We already saw it earlier in the preseason. Looks like he's not going to make the trip to play the Lakers. Maybe they're tanking to get out of this play-in tournament as quickly as possible, too. It could be. I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers, even with Gobert. And they definitely don't have Jaden McDaniels because he decided, hey, guys, I'm going to punch a wall. By the way, and I'm going to put this out there, and I think this is the best bet you can make. Whenever you punch a wall, nothing good is going to happen. Punching walls does not result in anything good. Broken hands. Holes in wall. Broken walls. What does it do? Nothing. Stop punching walls. Anyways, he fractured his hand. He ain't going to make it either. Punching walls. Jeez. So, Rudy Gobert.
You are one pathetic loser.
Don't punch your teammates. I know. Now, he did apologize and did the right things there. Take the money line on the wall to win every time. Wait, Tavares. Yes. Take the money line on the wall to win every time. He did apologize. He was sent home after that. Like, straight up, go get your stuff, get out. Now, when Draymond Green punched Poole, he didn't miss any time. So there's obviously more to that here than that situation. And the punch wasn't even that strong. Come on, he hit him like in the chest. Jordan Poole got hit by Draymond Green. No suspension, nothing. So very interesting to see what the Timberwolves are doing. I think they're kind of on their way out like Dallas as well, saying, What's the worst? We lose this one. We don't have to go play the Denver Nuggets. We out. That's why this play-in tournament is so freaking stupid, people. It's dumb. News today that Trae Young could be traded from the Hawks. Now, here's all the outcries and everything from the end of the season. I saw Detroit coach was fired. Houston Rockets coach was fired. Okay, duh. But, and we talked about it on the show before. I think Thomas Stevens brought it up on Rant on the Street. The Hawks need to reassemble and refigure things out. And I was really high on them at the beginning of the year. I had them as a sleeper team going to the conference finals. Oops. Thought that chemistry would be better. It wasn't. I think they'll be fine next year. They did bring in a new coach halfway through the season who's a winning coach. I don't think trading Trae is the right answer, but it could be depending on what you get back. Because DeJounte Murray could be a star, a one-star on a team too. So there's a lot to say there. In the teams that made the playoffs, my Clippers, we don't know. I'm glad they avoided the play-in game. There was time yesterday when I was listening to the game and I was smoking my lamb. I'm like, they're going to lose to this D team in Phoenix and really go to the play-in, because at that point, you had the Warriors were up and the Lakers were up big. And I'm going, the Clippers are going to blow it, because that's what my teams do. Sure enough, they held on. They won at the end. They get the Suns. But PG-13, he will miss at least the first game, probably the second game. Don't think he will even play in the first round, if I had to guess. Remember with Kawhi a couple years ago where everybody knew it was a bad injury with his knee, but it was still game to game? Dude, an ACL tear. And they knew it. Are they doing the same thing with Paul George? Probably, because they have a history of doing this. They may know he's out for the whole playoffs, but they're not telling you that. He's just out for the start of the playoffs. What does that even mean? The first game, the first series, tomorrow? Come on. So we'll see. The Clippers are in a little bit of trouble there, although I think the depth is something that they could take advantage of, because if you get rid of that starting five in Phoenix, you could have a good game and possibly win a series. But what do I really think about that series and the NBA playoffs in general? Well, after this break, Tyler and myself, we're going to pull up the bracket that you have on NBA.com, and I'm going to fill out the bracket for the NBA playoffs, what I think and how it will end for your viewing pleasure, my ranters. After the break, complete NBA playoff preview on Monday Night Rants. See you in a couple, my fellow ranters.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
The word genius is there. Bob Glauber, it describes him. Bob, so when's the last time that Twitter defeated you? Because I've been defeated by Twitter today.
I'll tell you how Twitter defeated me one time. I had the mistaken impression that the year that Troy Polamalu won the Defensive Player of the Year, it looked like it was going to go to Clay Matthews Jr. And I tweeted it. And there was a guy on the media bus. He was like, oh, yeah, he's got it, a guy I trust. I won't tell you who it was, but his initials are Mike Garafalo. So I went with it. Got a DM from Rich Eisen, NFL Network. He goes, you sure about that? I go, oh, man. Oh, I just got this wave. Because, like, accuracy to me is really important.
Yeah.
So I'm literally on the media bus. We're just getting back from media day. We are slipping and sliding in Dallas. It's snowing. I get off the bus. I open my laptop. I'm hunched over. And I just, like, literally people are passing me. Bob, what's wrong? And it was Polamalu. And Adam Schefter had retweeted me. Trey Wingo had retweeted me. I'm like, oh, I'm dead.
So when it's Palomalu, then how do you handle that? Like, what was the subsequent
Well,
tweet
I think
afterward?
got some bad Twitter info. I didn't put Garofalo's name on there. I had to
10 years later, you can out him. I like that. Yeah.
he wouldn't mind that. He knows the stories.
Yeah.
He actually said to me, "Hey, Bob, I think you might have jumped the gun on that." I was like, "Oh, crap." There we go.
Campus to Canton on the Better Sports Network.
Would Dion bench Shador?
I don't think he would.
Like, how bad would it have to be? Because we've seen horrendous quarterback play from this Colorado team for the last, 4 years, 5 years? JT Shroud, Brandon Lewis, just terrible quarterback play. Like, they were 131st, which is dead last in pass EPA per play. Obviously, it will be better, but how bad does it have to be for him to bench his own son? Like, I'm not sure he will ever either. Like, especially with the attitude that he came in with.
If they don't get Rashada, who do they bench him for this year anyway? I don't know that there's another answer on that roster that you go to. They don't really have a guy behind him. So I don't even know if we would know the answer to that until the next year, assuming that, he doesn't declare for the draft, he returns, they bring somebody else that's competent and behind him.
If they're going to do this the Lincoln Riley way, next year would be the class to bring somebody in. Shador Sanders is going to be a third-year player. So he's going to play 2023. I don't think he's declaring for the 2024 NFL draft. So he's going to play in 2024 and then declare for the 2025 NFL draft. And let's remember this. He hasn't had a full recruiting cycle at Colorado. He will have that next recruiting cycle. So maybe he could get one of these class of 2024 quarterbacks that ever come to Colorado.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. Let me tell you, though, the countdown to the NFL draft is on. That's right. The NFL draft is just a couple of weeks away, and you need fantasyalarm.com to bet the draft and dominate your fantasy football leagues. Already? Yeah, already. It's that time. Especially Dynasty leagues and best ball leagues. What are you waiting for? FantasyAlarm.com for all your rookie scouting reports, NFL team needs, betting odds, player projections, Discord chat with all your favorite analysts. I'm even dabbling in there for some NASCAR stuff and some other stuff as well. And of course, get an additional 20% off your annual rate, which is the lowest rate that they are offering right now. Promo code NFL Draft at FantasyAlarm.com. Boom. All right. Let's get this bracket started, shall we? I love brackets, as you know. We just finished the NCAA bracket, and by the way, shout out to UConn. I was right. It was going to be a really boring game. Although San Diego State did make it interesting for a little bit, but it wasn't quite enough to actually hone on towards the end. Just too dominant for UConn. So let's take that bracket and push it aside and bring up this one. That's right, the Pick'em bracket for the NBA at NBA.com. Now, I know it's early, but my show's on Monday. So some of these teams that are in these play-in tournaments could have a shot to go to the finals, I guess, if you wanted to, or if you really wanted to bet on that, but that's on you. I know Heavy T feels really favorable towards one team, which I as well do, which we'll talk about here shortly. So let's start with the West. I'm going to go ahead and say the Lakers get that 7 seed and take care of Minnesota easily. Easily. I'm going to go ahead and put the Lakers in that spot where they will play Memphis. So we're going to go ahead and say that Memphis will be playing the Lakers. I think most people agree. Now, anything can happen. And obviously last year, Minnesota, they won the play-in tournament and they had a celebration. Not this year. From what I saw, even though they have a good young nucleus of talent and they could easily pull some crazy shooting off, but no, who's going to cover Anthony Davis with Gobert at home? I just don't see it. I just think that the Lakers run away with this, and everyone's back and healthier there. So Lakers against Memphis, I think we all agree. I do find the New Orleans Pelicans Oklahoma City game very, very intriguing. Oklahoma City got in, obviously. They are a under 500 team. They finished the season at 40-42. Another good young team that's up and coming. And I think in a few years, this team's going to be, if they keep the same young nucleus they have, will be really, really good. Kind of like what we're seeing with Sacramento now. New Orleans, no Zion. So I think this could go either way. However, I have a feeling, a sneaky suspicion, and every year we see this, where the team that loses the 7-8 matchup loses to the 9 and 10. It happened last year with the Clippers. That the winner of that matchup, the Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder, will beat the Minnesota Timberwolves day out. We'll see what they do with Gobert and all that going forward, but I just don't think the Minnesota Timberwolves have what it takes to get there. They're not as deep with all these turmoil, and now they could come together and shock the world, but I doubt it. So I'm going to go ahead and say the winner of the Pelicans and Oklahoma City will be playing the Denver Nuggets, which Heavy T could just automatically punch in Denver's ticket to the semifinals. Yes. and I say in 4 or 5, sweep is hard to do. Let's go 5. Let's give the benefit of a doubt. And let's go 5 for Denver there. Let's skip this game for now. Sacramento, Golden State. Lots of controversy here. Everyone and their mom seems to think that the Kings are just an easy out. This is a great year. They did have a great year. Great year. They have played out of their mind. And the light the beam is real. So is the Golden State Warriors, who, by the way, are the defending champions. 74% in favor of Golden State. However, I think Sacramento gives them a run for their money. So I'm going to go ahead and say Golden State wins 7 games. That's right. Because remember, Golden State, terrible on the road. And they have to play 4 games on the road in this matchup. So give the benefit of the doubt to the hot team who's been really good at home in Sacramento and say 7, but Golden State edges here. And here's where Heavy T and I agree. That's right, I said that. Here we go. Lakers upsets Memphis. That's right. The Lakers will upset Memphis. All the games they have played this year, we'll say in 6. All the games they have played this year have been close. These teams have a chip on their shoulder when they play each other too. They've been fun games to watch. And I don't know what's going on with Dylan Brooks or whatever he's wearing. Oh my God, you see that outfit? What is going on there? Jeez. Ugh. But the Lakers, how could you go against LeBron in the playoffs? Anthony Davis, John Morant, we just don't, Jaren Jackson Jr. can he's a great player. He made his first All-Star game, great, but he can disappear, especially against the Lakers, which he has already this year. So the Lakers, that's right. All right, am I going to be a homer? Heavy T probably thinks yes. And he's right. I'm going to take the Clippers in 7. The depth. Chris Paul's not getting any younger. I know neither is Kawhi Leonard. We don't know about Paul George. But it's like, if you look at, and I know you got Booker, but the Clippers are so deep and can beat you in so many different ways with Norman Powell off the bench. And now you got Plumlee and Zoo you got to worry about. I just think you're going to see those games where Durant's going off for 40, but they lose by 10. Like exactly what happened to, Luka when they played the Clippers this year. Like it just seems like that because Chris Paul may have a chip on his shoulder going up against his Clippers team that used to be on forever. But at the same time, he got that chip off because he took him to the conference or the championship, the finals already. So maybe it's not as acclimated as it was back then. 18% on the Clippers. I'm going against the public in this one. I am also a Clippers fan. But hey, I do think the depth is huge. I've been saying it all year. Now, I don't know what Heavy T thinks here. I'm going to go ahead and say Golden State goes back to the Western Conference Finals. I think that this is where the Lakers find trouble. I think Curry just goes off. We'll say in 6. But hey, that would be the farthest a play-in team has ever gone, right? So we can do that. Heavy T says Lakers in 5 against Golden State. Whew. That's intriguing. However, no. I don't see it. I mean, realistically, the Lakers are the only play-in team I see that can go and win the whole thing. So that's why I have them going farther and upsetting Memphis. But Golden State, like, until Golden State in the playoffs proves to me that they're not, like, they just always seem to get it done. And who knows how long that they have left of this core. You know, they're not getting any younger. I just think over the Lakers, Golden State has the advantage because then they become the home team as well in the series. So I like that. Shall I do it, Heavy T? Shall I do it? Paul George could be back by now. Full, healthy Clippers lineup against Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. I'm not going to do it. Denver will win this series. They've been the best team in the West all year. They'll win in 6. Tears to my eyes. Tears to my shirt. Yes, I hope it goes the other way, but as a betting man and trying to make sure this bracket is correct, Denver at Golden State. Believe in the Joker there and that really good Denver team, who's also very deep, by the way, which helps by far. All right. Who's going to the finals out of the West? Heavy T says Lakers. Actually, Heavy T, if you had Lakers versus Denver in this matchup, which you probably do, would you take the Lakers over Denver? Let's see what he says here. Or would he stick with Denver? That's a tough one. He doesn't even have Denver going this far. Okay, so he has Phoenix. Obviously, he's a big Suns believer there. Okay, so he has Phoenix going. I think the Clippers have enough to beat Phoenix. He thinks Suns go back to the finals. Okay, well, it's one. Like, you understand the lack of depth on that team is. I know they like won almost every game with Durant playing, but it's still only been like 7 or 8 because of his injury. But I don't know. I just don't see that. I see the depth being an issue, and the age. So I'm a little worried, but I'll take it. Yeah, Heavy T. If you want to argue with me, just jump on and just start arguing. Let's do it. Let's go. I don't care at this point. We're filling out a bracket. You're yelling at me in the chat.
I don't know about yelling at you in the chat. Okay. So first off, I think my Golden State thing is because you were saying that Golden State doesn't win on the road. Is Sacramento really the road? I mean, they're what, less than an hour away from each other? An hour at tops? Sacramento
you don't think they're going to show up, though?
Oh, Golden State fans will travel the hour. I'm pretty sure they would, just to show up. And
they probably have more money than them.
Yeah, and it's not like they can't afford those tickets, because I'm sure Sacramento tickets for the first playoff series since, 2006? Like, I'm sure those tickets are going to be expensive, but they'll pay for them. I still probably have Golden State winning just because Sacramento's so young. I do agree, Lakers over Memphis. It's nothing over Memphis. Would not be surprised if Memphis pulls it out, honestly. but it's LeBron and KD. There's just too much experience on that team,
Mm-hmm.
and they have Shannon Sharp in their corner, and he's going to beat up Dylan Brooks and John Morant's dad. So there's that. Denver is a pretty easy call over whoever the 8 seed ends up being.
Yeah.
And I think that 8 seed probably ends up being. I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna say Oklahoma City. I'll say it ends up being Oklahoma City.
Those two teams are like Spider-Man meme, really. New Orleans.
Yeah, they're really the same.
Yeah.
Do not agree with your homer pick whatsoever. Sorry.
Of course.
I have Suns winning. I don't know if it'll go 7. It'll go at least 6, but I do have the Suns winning. And I know what you're saying about lack of depth. You're 100% correct, but you got to remember. Lack of depth was the same problem on that Brooklyn Nets team, I want to say, back in 2021, I think it was. And they came in within literal centimeters of upsetting the Bucks, who went on to win the finals. That's only because Durant's foot was on three-point line.
Yeah,
so it's still Kevin Durant. I will always believe that he could pull it out until I see that he can't pull it out anymore. So in that case, I have Phoenix winning, and then I have Phoenix beating Denver. Denver's one of those teams where I need to see it happen before I actually believe it. They're very much a need to see to believe team.
Yeah.
Phoenix has the experience. Chris Paul's trying to get that title before he ends up retiring. His best chance to do it, you have Ayton, Booker, and Durant on your team. If you don't get it now, you're not getting it. Okay. So this is going to be that year. So they beat Denver. They get to the Western Conference Finals. I see the Lakers pulling it out against Golden State.
Wow.
You telling me that? But what are you going to do? You going to tell me that Draymond's going to sit there and stop LeBron and Anthony Davis? That's not going to happen. The Lakers actually built a lot of depth at the deadline. They got a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with them getting to the Western Conference Finals. I think they beat Golden State. That's where I think they run into a problem. I think Phoenix and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and I think it goes 7. I would say Phoenix beats the Lakers in 7 games to get back to the finals.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have Denver going to the finals over Golden State, obviously. I think that Denver team, they're too good to put down, and not a lot of believers in them because of how deep the West is. But I think they quietly just kind of get there.
They could, because every year before they've been hurt.
Yeah.
There was always some key player they had that was hurt, and that always crippled their run. This year, I believe everybody's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they can stay healthy in the playoffs, who knows? And this might be their year. And if they do, good for them. But I got to see it to believe it.
So I say in 6. Also, though, the team I have winning the whole thing's in the East. So let's yeah. There's also that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's just go ahead and move Milwaukee and Boston straight in. In 4 or 5, I don't really care at this point.
We'll give Boston in 5 because they're the smaller seed.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, because this is none of these teams in the play-in in the Eastern Conference really want to be in the play-in. Let's put it that way. I think that's pretty given there. We gave the Lakers the benefit of the doubt because you're right, they have been building towards this, but in this case, no. The Philadelphia-Brooklyn matchup is really, really intriguing to me. And the reason is because Brooklyn, they traded all their stars over the last few years. Their big 3, big 4, however you would have it. I mean, they still have Ben Simmons, but I said stars. Yeah, and they're playing really good basketball together. And with and all these guys with a chip on their shoulder, they still have guys there that were traded for Harden to Philadelphia, right? They still have the Durant guys from the Suns playing there that have a chip to prove. It's a very tough matchup for them, and I think Philadelphia could win the whole thing. I'm not saying that's who I'm going to pick. I'm saying they have the talent too, and they have the MVP, in my opinion, in Embiid. But I think they fight really, really hard and make this a long series. What do you think about that?
I'd probably agree with that. I don't know if it goes 7, but I'll say it at least goes 6.
I agree with that. So let's go ahead and put Philadelphia in 6 there.
You had me for a second. I was like, oh, okay.
No, not that way.
Okay.
But shout out to a team that literally lost all their star players over the last few years that just played good basketball and got this far. I mean, really,
Yeah, I mean, you could make a really good argument that this team was better without all the star players. Yeah.
What? Let me guess. There's no egos, and everyone's just playing basketball with a chip on the shoulder, and they play good team basketball and win? Huh, who would have thought that worked?
And they don't have a guy who's clearly insane. So there's that.
And that, yes. So let's go ahead and run with that, which I think everyone agrees. I love that Philadelphia, Boston. Ooh. Cleveland Knicks. I mean, people, I haven't heard anything. I think the people in New York kind of already think that the Knicks are going to lose this series. Normally there's hype, right? I don't see any hype at all for this matchup. So
it's kind of like Spike Lee's been in hiding lately. I don't know where he's at.
Hopefully we're going to do a movie. He got game 2. Cleveland and the Knicks. Obviously, Cleveland has the better team. They did a really good job of reloading over the last couple of years. Donovan Mitchell's, probably the best player on the court. I love Evan Mobley. I think the Knicks are a 2-man team right now with Randall and Brunson. And I just don't think they have enough to win a 7-game series against Cleveland. Offensively, defensively, I want to say 5. What say you?
I'll agree with that because I think you kind of hit it the nail on the head for the most part. But I think a good part of it is Donovan Mitchell, because everybody remembers that the Knicks were super close to getting him. They just didn't want to part with some of the players that Cleveland or that Utah wanted. Yeah. And when you look at that, Donovan Mitchell's going to go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to show you guys what you missed out. I'm going to show you guys that you screwed up, and I'm just going to ball the hell out.
Yeah, so here we are with straight chalk. But I think everyone kind of agrees there's a reason why it's straight chalk, because literally 3 of these teams are 3 of the 4 best teams in the NBA at this point. Yeah. So that could be it. But these matchups are going to be really good. Let's start with Milwaukee, Cleveland. I think it's Milwaukee. I think Cleveland will win a couple games, but I say 6 at the most. There, and I just hate to see the disappointed Donovan Mitchell head shake again, year after year after year. But I have a feeling that's going to happen again this year. By the way, shout out to Giannis, who came out and about the MVP. He's like, whatever. He just wants to win a championship again, which he could easily do this year. I think this is a really, really good matchup, Philadelphia and Boston. Boston almost swept them in the season, except Philadelphia won the last game a couple days ago to keep the sweep from not happening. But Boston was without Jalen, and they were without Robert Williams, a.k.a. Time Lord, as well. So fully healthy. And remember, I picked Philadelphia to go to the finals earlier this year. I just think a fully healthy Boston team will be able to overcome Philadelphia and Embiid, especially if Robert Williams is healthy. Because Robert Williams can give you a presence that could kind of just put a little bit of pressure on him so he can't just have his 40-point, 15 rebound game. And in a 7-game series, I think Boston overcomes. I think it goes 7. I think it goes to the end. What say ye, Heavy T?
I'd probably go Philly, but in the same distance. I think it would go 7.
See, that's the thing. It could go either way, but I just think with everyone healthy for Boston, and it's just, yeah. Although Philly, though, when it comes down to coaching, and I just can't not trust Doc Rivers in the playoffs. I just can't. He always finds a way to lose.
It's a really fair point, but I mean, Embiid's been playing lights out. I got to think.
Doc Rivers had Chris Paul in his prime, Blake Griffin in his prime, DeAndre Jordan in his prime, the 6th man of the year for 4 straight years, and blew it in the playoffs every time.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I'm sensing a lot of resentment in that.
Yes, there is. Of course, there is.
I would go Philly, but like I said, I would flip it the other way. I would have them in 7. I think it does go the distance, no matter who wins, though.
Okay, so I'm taking that you probably have Milwaukee going to the finals then in the East.
Probably. Now, this is another one. If it doesn't go the distance, it goes at least 6. This one, honestly, between these two teams, I think it could be honestly a coin flip. I think it
I
really
agree.
could.
I think Boston goes to the finals.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. They got to stay healthy, though. I know, dude, Drew Holiday is the most underappreciated basketball player in the NBA, what he does for Milwaukee. Hopefully he shows up and everyone sees him on prime time in all these games in the playoffs. Not a lot of people from the West Coast get a chance to watch a Bucks game. You know what I mean?
That's true.
To understand how good this team is. It's not just Giannis over there. They got some great role players as well. But so does Boston. And Marcus Smart, lockdown defense. If Robert Williams stays healthy, and they're good too. But coaching again here, right? You got a coach coaching for the first time this year. He's done great. Obviously, he brought him the best record in the NBA. But now you go up against Boston, a powerhouse. The Garden's going to be rocking every time you go to Boston. Fear the deer. We get it. It's a coin flip. I'm going to say Boston has the edge just from coaching and just that little bit more depth, but not by a lot. So I'm going to say Boston 7.
So I'm actually going to grab that and I'm going to go the opposite direction because I think Milwaukee, going back to the second round, I think Milwaukee beats Cleveland, but I'm going to say they beat Cleveland in 5. And let's say, hypothetically, Philly does lose in the second round, ends up being Boston. They go in 7. You're going to have to go in 7 again. That's a grueling process.
That's grueling, yeah.
I don't see Boston being – I don't want to say that they're not healthy enough because I'm just going to assume that everyone stay healthy. But I think the fatigue factor will set in by like game 5, and they're just exhausted. Meanwhile, Milwaukee, who had 2 games less in the series before, they're a little bit more rested. I could see Milwaukee winning. And honestly, I'll say Milwaukee in 6.
Okay, against Boston?
Yeah, against Boston. Well, for me, against Philadelphia, but for you, against Boston.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. Oh, man, I could see that as well. I may want to change my pick now. That's grueling. That's a grueling series. Yeah.
I mean, it is. So now that I think about it, my finals would be a rematch of 2021. Now I think about it.
100%. The Suns versus Milwaukee. Although an actual crowd in every game this time.
Yeah, and I'm so down for that Phoenix crowd too because half those people look like they're high as hell, and it's amazing. Well, so fun to watch that.
That's because they are Heavy T.
Yeah, I remember. I remember them showing the NBA Finals, and I think it's the second game in Phoenix. And there's a guy, super white dude, got a bandana on his head, and he's just like doing this, like in the hard cam. And I'm like, this guy is on bath salts or something. Like I don't know what he's on.
Having the time of his life.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I see Phoenix Milwaukee rematch. Which if we get Durant Giannis in the finals. Oh boy,
that'd be fun. Yeah,
that would be a fun series. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I would actually watch the hell out of it.
But in my series, the Joker versus Tatum is also a very good.
That's a good one, but I think this is where this gets interesting. Because if I remember correctly, you said your champions in the East.
Yes.
So you have Boston winning this.
100. I do. Correct.
If it ends up being this, I think I might go the other direction. I think I would go Denver.
Really? Okay.
I honestly think the altitude would have a factor in this game. Because you're not playing in it for just one game. You're playing in it at least 2 games at a time, I think, because Denver would have had the better record, I believe. So you would be playing it at least 2 games at a time.
Only Milwaukee would be home if they played in the finals against Denver. So yeah.
Which that would be interesting because in that case you're playing in Denver 3 games in a row. So that's interesting. But yeah, I think the altitude might have a little bit to do. I'm not saying it's the defining factor, but I think it'd have a little bit to do with that. So, but this is your show, so we'll say Boston. But Boston wins.
It's your show too, Heavy T. Come on, we all like your tidbits as well. I say Boston in 6.
Okay, in 6. That's a good one.
And this is kind of when I went over it today. I had Boston winning in almost all 5 ways. I created this were my favorite because I believe in the battle tested type of thing too. You have to go to a 7th game and win in order to have that mindset to win a championship. Although UConn didn't have to even worry about that. And yeah, but I just think that, I don't know. I have a really good feeling about this team. If they stay healthy, that they could definitely do something. But you have Phoenix versus Milwaukee. Who do you have winning in your bracket?
If I have Phoenix versus Milwaukee, I think I would give Phoenix a slight edge, but the series would go the full 7.
Okay, I could see that as well. Either one of those two matchups would be really fun, though, to be honest. So,
and looking at this, so if let's say everything goes perfectly in your bracket, you're looking at Boston playing 7, 14, 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's grueling.
Battle tested, baby.
Yeah, that is.
Oh,
that's extreme battle tested, and you're doing that in what, 6-7 weeks? 25 games. Yikes! That's a rough one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, isn't that what Golden State had to do last year as well? Or close? Like
maybe. To be perfectly honest, I can barely remember last year's playoffs.
Yeah, man.
I
know they played a 7 at least once. I just don't remember.
And they faced Boston. I could not tell you who they played on the way to the title. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, Dallas actually. Remember, Dallas was in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Oh, and that was a snoozer of a finals. I think what 5 games. Everybody knew that Golden State was going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, all right. We'll see what happens, but ultimately, I think Boston is my pick. Phoenix is your pick over Milwaukee, and let's have a good playoffs. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on Monday as well because games start this weekend, right? Friday. Friday.
I believe playoff or playing games start as early as tomorrow. I believe
they start tomorrow, and you got 2 games tomorrow, 2 games on Wednesday, and then you have
the final games on Thursday. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, so Saturday.
I think playoffs on Friday.
Friday. Wow. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, the actual playoffs would start on Friday, and then like the people who won the game on Wednesday, the playing game on Wednesday, they would play, or on Thursday they would play on Saturday.
Well, there you go. All right, cool. So we can talk about it on Monday. Can't wait. As my Clippers have a 1-0 lead over the Phoenix. I was kidding. We'll see what happens.
This homerism is so real. It's disgusting.
Well, let's go to a break. And let's get Thomas Stevens on here after the break and talk some UFC. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, my fellow ranchers. That was our complete bracket breakdown of the NBA playoffs and what we think. Obviously, we're at 2 separate areas, but we both agree that all 4 of those teams, besides my Clippers beating the thing.
Yeah, it's not happening.
We'll see. Maybe another friendly wager shall be on.
Oh.
I don't know.
Please no more pickles.
No more pickles for Heavy T. No more pickles. We'll find something else. Trust me. But there you go. So we'll take a quick break right here. After this break, we'll have Thomas Stevens on. We will do Rants on the Street and talk about what I liked, what I did not like about UFC 287. That was Saturday night. We'll see you in a couple of minutes, my fellow ranters.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Calvin Ridley yesterday, he applied for reinstatement from the National Football League.
Ridley, Kirk, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. That is crazy potent on offense.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, Ridley's great.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a guy I want in fantasy this year.
I think you're probably right. I think they're just going to get better and better. First off, Peterson's a wonderful offensive mind, a great head coach, and we've seen that and saw that this year as Jacksonville made it to the postseason. And Trevor Lawrence, anybody that questioned whether or not he could play in the National Football League or just how good he was going to be in the NFL, those questions were answered this past season as in the second half of the year. Statistically speaking, he was a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. That's how good Trevor Lawrence is. You throw Calvin Ridley into the mix, he's going to be great. Yeah, I think Lawrence is a guy you want. I think Ridley's a guy you want. Clearly, Travis Etienne is going to be one of those early, first-round selections as well, being the dual-threat running back that he is, not only running, but also catching the ball out of the backfield, Keith, and the ability to take something small and take it to the house. Take a 5-yard dump pass, make a guy miss in the open field, and he's gone. I mean, you saw that with Travis Etienne this past season for Jacksonville. Yeah, sky's the limit. I mean, I think You're going to go from a team in the year span where you wanted no part of the Jacksonville Jaguars when you're looking at fantasy football to where you want as many Jaguars as you possibly can because they're going to be really, really productive. And let's see if they get their tight end back as well, who had
Evan Ingram was great.
And Evan Ingram, who was great this past season.
Yeah. I mean, if they keep that whole core together, their offense is going to be one of the best in football. Like, I legitimately think that they could be one of the best offenses in football.
Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, then you
And
throw
Ridley.
Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, a good offensive line, and you've got Doug Peterson being creative calling.
Right?
And you look at that division. The Colts are a mess.
Yep.
Titans
look like they're on the downslide.
Titans are on the downslide, right? That window is clearly closed. And then you got the Houston Texans.
Years away from relevancy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville could win 11 games next year.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Real music. Yeah, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants, the dueling twangy piano edition here on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. Hey, Thomas Stevens, have you seen the new Better Insights newsletter yet that we're sending out?
No, not yet.
What?
Not yet.
You need to get on and subscribe right now because attention, all you Better fans out there, you can have the Better Sports Network newsletter emailed to you every day.
Mm-hmm.
The only place to get our daily better bet, which I have done a few times. I'm now 3-1. Boo. Plus exclusive offers, program alerts, special events, and all of our top moments on Better Insights. Register for free right now at bettersports.com. Thomas, you better do that at the end of the next break.
Of course. I'll get all my friends to do it as well.
All right. What's going on, man? I know last week you were stuck by plane issues and travel issues.
Yeah, the wind was insane leaving Vegas last week, man. It was crazy. Flight got delayed forever, and then we finally got on the flight, and we're about to leave, and a plastic bag gets in our engine. So, yeah, we have to pull over to another gate, got delayed again, so we ended up just staying one more night, leaving the next morning around 10 a.m.
Well,
Vegas bad luck.
Well, did you have any Vegas good luck while you're there? Did you place any bets? This is your first Vegas trip since turning 21?
Yes, it is. It is.
And how was it?
It was a blast, but no, we did not have very good luck. We could have, but if we were a little smarter with our bets. But we decided to try to win more, and it never really goes too well. So
you definitely did not have as much fun as Heavy T did last time he went to Vegas. That's for sure.
There you go. I got to learn how to play poker. That's my thing. My friends over here, like he loses and then he wins it all back. Then he loses and then he wins times 3. And I'm like, dude, I can't do a slot machine, a blackjack. I'm okay on blackjack. But, if I could learn how to play poker a little bit, I think I'd have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I'm not a big poker guy. I just don't like it. Just takes too long.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I just like to sit down, play a couple of hands of blackjack or like I don't like the whole nah. Are you lying? Are you not lying? Nah, it's cool.
Yeah, poker face.
Yeah, nah. I'll leave that to Lady Gaga. All right, did you watch UFC? I know you did. We were texting and talking about it. Great card.
Yeah, great
UFC
card.
287 over the weekend. Obviously, Pereira got knocked out by Adesanya, and at the time, he was winning.
Yep. Yeah, that was the crazy factor too. That's what was insane. Now, when you're watching it on the fast motion, it was like, you saw the punches, and then the knee was where I, when it was going fast and not the slow-mo, I thought the knee was like, he's out. I thought that was going to get him. And then you kind of watched it in slow-mo and you're like, none of it landed. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Like, he was literally like blocking all of it and then just came back with the right. And, I think it was a little bit of a delayed reaction, the way he got hit. And then, he did hit him again in the temple too, but man, what a great fight. And the celebration after, one of the best pictures I think they could have captured. I'm not going to lie. That was a very, very cool picture. But
Yeah, well, I mean, he's lost to the guy how many times in a row? He finally beats him. Like, what do you expect,
exactly.
right? And also, Izzy's not known for being, modest. So
not at all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
you see him point to the sun.
Yeah,
that was a little. I'm like, all right, we're doing too much now.
Yeah, we're going a little crazy.
Yeah.
But it was a good fight. The card itself was great. I at first you would ask me, and I said I really like Izzy in this. And then I kind of switched towards the end. I kind of fell in the narrative of everything I was reading on all the betting sites. And the better value was actually to play Alex in DFS over Izzy.
Sure. Yeah, I had Alex in my DFS lineup.
So it just overall, it just kind of felt that way. So I was like, oh, I might as well bet on him too. But I should have hedged, I guess, my DFS with my bet. It's okay. I won some other bets, so I was happy with it.
Good.
And of course, this is what Dana White is doing now. These co-main events where there's not another belt on the line. Let's just bring in the oldest guy we have and have him retire and lose and retire. Like the fourth time this has happened on a main card. I mean,
everybody knew the result of that.
I played Jorge in my DFS because he was the cheapest on the board, and I have never seen someone so cheap in my life. I'm like, what? You got to play him just for something. And it was close. I mean, Burns took him down 4 times, but strikes were, I think, 42-39 in favor of Burns. So close there. You got some points, but ultimately, Masvidal's done. Like,
exactly.
Like I said, and Burns is getting up there in age too, but
he is. Yeah, he is.
So kudos to him. And right as he was done, he started untaping. I was like, oh, here we go again. Put the gloves in the ring. We know you're going to retire. There you go.
Everybody knows it's going to happen.
But the one fight I was the most interested in was actually the first fight on the main card between Raus Jr., who's 18 years old. He was undefeated going in against Christian Rodriguez. Everybody thought that Roses was going to win. He even came out and said, I'm going to run through this guy, was his exact words. And he looked like he was trying to. Right when
especially
he ran. He went
into it. Yeah.
And I was on him. I like a good story. I like seeing an 18-year-old go 7-0. But looking at the fight, he's not ready.
No.
He has no striking ability whatsoever. And it shows. Like look
very
at
one-dimensional.
Like he had 2 strikes? And both of them look like
yeah.
Sure. If he doesn't develop striking, he's still young though. He's 18. If he needs to develop some sort of striking ability and also learn about cardio, because he just went all full guns to the metal right in the way. And
you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. I mean, it was just everything he gave everything he had in the first round. And for a second in the first round too, I actually thought maybe he had him. Like it wasn't really under, but you can get under that chin. And so I thought maybe it was in the first round, but once he didn't do it in the first round, I'm like, dude, Rodriguez knows what he's doing. He's way more of a veteran. He's got the whole energies on Rodriguez's side now. So, he's just got to live and learn. He's 18.
2 of 19 landed strikes.
That's crazy. Yeah.
83 of 115 for Christian Rodriguez.
The under was such a lock. The under on Prize Picks, and I think other places too, was 25.5 for strikes on Rojas.
Jesus.
Yeah. Under was the lock of the locks.
He had 2. But if he doesn't develop that game, he's not going to be able to.
Yeah, for sure.
Compete.
You can't just take everybody down.
You can't just wrestle and once you got to this point. Kudos to Dana White for giving him a chance in the main event, though. I did like that. It drew eyes, right? Especially through Mexico and but yeah, he has a lot to learn if he wants to be a champion in this league. So,
and I think he will too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think he's young. I mean, I'm not 100% set on the guy, but when you're that young, I feel like your camp can train you, and you can get better and come back. And you can take
just
time.
Looks small for a bantamweight too, but again, he's 18, so exactly. He still has room to grow. But
the dude's in high school, getting out of high school.
Yeah, really, just crazy, man. It's just insane. But yeah, I was really high on him, but then and then it was almost like let's step back for a second and realize this guy has a lot of work to do, and there's a reason why a lot of people don't become champions until they're in their late 20s or even 30s. So
a lot of
long ways to go there.
I'm curious to see what happens next. That's what I'm very curious.
You can't give him another main event fight.
No.
He looked outclassed completely.
For sure.
And not like Christian Rodriguez is some contender.
No,
either,
yeah.
you know,
It was
so.
just, you could tell. It was just older experience versus, an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
You really could just tell.
But hey, Kevin Holland, another great
Kevin,
fight
yeah.
for Kevin Holland. He won this time.
Yeah, nice left hook.
Yeah. Coming off a 2-fight lose streak, he had a
Mhm.
nice win there.
I was
he's
low
must
worried. I
watch.
had him in my lineup. I never
I
like
did
to
too.
bet on Kevin Holland. I'm not gonna lie, but he got him though with the left, and I was hyped.
He's a must watch when he's on a card.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whether he lose or win is, it's
Mhm.
going to be a tough,
Yeah.
fun fight. So overall, I thought it was a great card, probably the best one we've had so far this year. I know it's still early.
I agree. No, I agree for sure.
But does Adesanya and Pereira fight again?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, I wouldn't be opposed to it 100%, but I agree with Dana White. I think Pierre should move up. I really do. I think that he's a monster, man, and he's had to cut
He
weight.
looks a little big. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And I did hear that like something about like he literally was like had to cut 2 pounds of like 30 minutes before the weight, like type, I don't know when it was or whatever Dana said, but I think for his sake, Izzy was the reason you were down in that division. You guys have this rivalry to move up and see what you could do, because you are a monster.
That'll be light heavyweight, right? So
Yeah,
that would be who's the champion light heavyweight? I don't even
It's
know.
Isn't it Hill? Is it Hill?
Yeah, I think it is.
Jamal Hill.
Yeah.
And I think he'll kill Jamal Hill in a striking battle. I really do.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Mhm.
And what if we got crazy? John Jones.
Yeah, no,
Right, fight.
that's what me and my friend were talking about yesterday. I was like, that would be insane.
But John Jones looks really comfortable right now in heavy, so I don't know if he would drop down again. I don't know if he wants to go through all that again, because that seemed to mess with him mentally. That's for sure.
No, yeah, for
So
sure.
let's
John
stay
Jones
away.
too, with taking him to the ground, Pierre would have a rough time, man.
Ooh, rough.
It would be
Yeah.
very rough.
So yeah, that could be a good spot for him, and I can see that happening. I would like that actually as well. So shout out to a great card as always. UFC, great crowd, loved it. Exciting, man, for right before Easter. Like, man, everything that went on this weekend was just
it was a great weekend for sports.
insane. So I'm sure we have great questions.
Yeah,
from everything
we
that
do.
happened.
We kind of touched on the fifth one, but I'm going to kind of stir it up a little bit just so we can have a good question.
All right, I like it. I like the curveball.
Yeah, there we go.
Sometimes I can't hit it, but I'm gonna swing at it.
It's all right. We'll see what you got. All right, first one. You and Tyler did kind of touch on it when I was listening, so just kind of redo it. Play-in matchups are obviously tomorrow, day after. What is your play-in? Who do you have winning the play-ins?
Okay, yeah, we kind of just skipped over the Eastern ones really quickly because we don't think any one of those teams are going to beat Boston or Milwaukee. So now I can actually tell you who I think is going to win that one. So that's a fun question.
Okay, for sure.
Obviously, we're both in agreement, so you probably are too. I think the Lakers will handle Minnesota easily.
Yeah,
and
especially
move
with
on.
the problems
against
going on
Memphis.
over there.
and then I think Minnesota loses to either New Orleans or Oklahoma City. Now
agree.
I can't pick that game. I'll wait till I'll probably bet on it because I'm a degenerate. But I kind of like the Pelicans a little bit more. Heavy T liked Oklahoma City. Spider-Man meme. But I think ultimately one of those two teams ends up becoming, which is dumb, I'm saying this, the true 8 seed. Playing.
Playing.
In the East, I do think Toronto wins against Chicago. Yeah, Chicago just seems out of it. Like they don't want to be there. And this is the best time to, just almost tank it and bow out.
Yep.
So I think Toronto has the opportunity there. And then Miami, Atlanta, same thing. I just think Miami wins this round 2. Atlanta, like they're already talking about trading Trae Young. They haven't even played their play-in game yet.
Yeah, literally.
And
that's funny.
So then and then we have this game will be fun. Atlanta versus Chicago of who wants to go play Milwaukee. What if they both just say, "Hey guys, we're good. We're just not going to play this game."
You want to win? You could win.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a tough one for me there. But I think ultimately, I think the team out of the 4 that can, Toronto and Miami, I think are the 2 teams that will come out of there. If I
agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then obviously Milwaukee and Boston will probably handle those teams. We've been talking about those teams all year, but why did Toronto do nothing at the trade deadline? Like they need to do something. And Chicago and Miami and Atlanta, all 4 of those teams are 4 Spider-Man memes.
Yeah, no, legit.
Looking at
They're
each
all
other
the
right
same
now,
position.
and the way the East is, yeah, they
It's
have no
set.
chance.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's two teams that are going to come out of the Eastern Conference, and it's 100% there. Whether it's Milwaukee or the Celtics, that's a little tough to go through. I do have Boston, but I don't know. Heavy T had a good point too. That I saw your bracket, and it's like that is 25 games that they would have to play for sure. But as you said too, the Golden State Warriors did that last year, and the Celtics are a team that have enough people and enough depth to where they can play 25 games and get there for sure.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, the Spider-Man means hilarious though, because when I look at the Raptors, I'm like, they added at the deadline. They got Podol and they did more things at the deadline. I thought it was going to be the complete opposite way. I thought it was
And it did nothing. It's like they literally ended up the same way. Like
they should have gotten rid of him. Chicago, I thought they were going to rebuild earlier this season. I thought they were just done. They're not the same team. Lonzo Ball is going through whatever the heck he's going through. DeRozan's not getting any younger. Levine, there's issues, with Levine doing, what he's doing. And then they went out and got Patrick Beverly, thinking that that's going to be a big move. So, I don't know.
Maybe Chicago will win the play-in tournament, and we can have another Patrick Beverly celebration.
Championship celebration.
I'm rooting for that now.
So am I. Throw the jersey in the crowd. Show me those tears.
Let's go. All right, there we go. I'm rooting for that.
On to number 2. Dallas. It is excuse my language, they are a shit show. It is horrible over there.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, straight up. Where is Kyrie Irving going this offseason if he is leaving? What speculation do you have on him?
I don't know, man. If I'm Mark Cuban, excuse my French, that shit didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have, even though Luka said he's happy, he ain't happy. Let's be real.
I agree.
That did not work. I don't know, man. I don't know what team wants to take this guy on right now. Plays zero defense.
Mm-hmm.
He has off the court issues, not physically, but just mentally with what he says. He's kind of like a PR nightmare in the sense of just what he's going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where he ends up, but I hate to say this, but what if he just joins the Lakers and they make it one more run with Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis next year?
I mean, I honestly could see that more than a lot other teams in the league, but I don't know because I mean, at the end of the day, like we get Kyrie Irving. I mean, he is Kyrie Irving. He's had success with LeBron James, with Anthony Davis. That would be insane. But it's just like, the Lakers, he's not Russell Westbrook. I understand that. But we went for those 3 superstars and it went terribly wrong. We gave up everything we had, all that stuff. In my opinion, don't do that. As an organization, don't walk on eggshells with this guy just to say, what if it's amazing and, we first seed and we kill him. I like the team we have. I'm not going to lie to you. I think you add additions to the team we have. You keep D'Angelo Russell. It's cheaper than Kyrie Irving. We don't need another max contract. But however, the Lakers are known for jumping ship and, making moves like that, especially with Lee GM up there. Calling the shots, So I really wouldn't be surprised, honestly, more than any other team.
Yeah, and I kind of see that kind of being a fit, kind of what they'll do. And remember, the definition of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it doesn't work, you keep on doing it. Like that's the Lakers, really, the last couple of years. So,
no, yeah, for real.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I agree with you too. I just don't. I think that no other team in this league. It's like you're getting a great player. We know what Kyrie Irving can do on the basketball court, but is it really worth the media attention and, the wrong spotlight being on your team? And it's not.
That's why that works, because it's the Lakers.
Yeah,
they get the media attention and the wrong spotlight put on their team. So it literally works out perfect.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, though. Would you ever see the Clippers? Because that was the thought. I mean, that was a thought. The trade, they did offer a trade. I don't know what's going on with Russell Westbrook in the offseason or, whatever there. But, could you see it possibly?
Yeah, it's a possibility, I guess. But it all depends, too, on – I mean, I don't want to say this now. I want to kind of see how the series plays out with the Suns. But
sure.
I almost think it's time for the Clippers to rethink a lot of things as well. The definition of insanity is this Paul George, Kawhi Leonard thing is 3-4 years now, and they just can't stay healthy together. And it's obviously not working. And the one time where they weren't healthy, they almost made the freaking finals. So with Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann and so I don't know, but that's a whole different story. But I I could see it, but I think the Lakers is probably the
Better
if there was a betting board, which I'm sure there is somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere out there.
They'd be the favorite. Yeah.
Give it like 2 weeks, you'll see it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. On to number 3. Okay, Golden State Warriors. Can they surprise us just like last season?
100%. And it was in my bracket. I know Heavy T disagrees.
I saw it. Yeah.
But by the way, Heavy T got a shout out for his hat over there. Got to give props to Heavy T's hat. I'm not sure what the hat was. I wasn't really paying attention, but hey, shout out to the hat. Obviously they can because they do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that's won how many championships in the last 5-6 years? They have a similar core. I know, and they did it without Durant.
Yep. Against a very hard defensive Celtics team.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I just, you can't count them out, man. Like, I know we've joked about it, how bad they've been on the road, and they've been bad.
Mm-hmm.
But you just can't count them out in 7-game series with Curry. Like, you just can't. He's one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter we've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
And if he gets hot for 3-4 games
you never know.
In a series, you're done. Like, you can't defend what he can do. Nobody can defend what he can do. We saw it against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Single-handedly carried that.
Yeah, they could easily go back to the finals and win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think their style of play too fits the playoffs. Everybody knows this. It's a complete different game. I'm not talking about the play-in, but the playoffs. The playoffs is a complete different game. It slows down. It's very half-court basketball. You got grit defense, stuff like that. And, championship pedigree really matters in the playoffs. You see a lot of the young teams always fall.
Experience really does matter.
Exactly. It matters. So when I look at the Golden State Warriors, I'm not, what's going on with Andrew Wiggins. That's a different story. But if Klay Thompson's shooting the ball like I saw last night and, Jordan Poole's coming off the bench doing Jordan Poole things, Curry's doing what he did last year, Draymond's passing the ball, playing good defense, I don't say no. I really don't. They're not my favorite. I'm not going to make a bracket and have them go to the finals.
Yeah.
But
well, they weren't anyone's favorite last year either. So.
Exactly. And then that's why it's like I can't sit here and say no because they did it literally last year. You have to give respect to the defending champs, whatever's gone. They've had a lot of problems this year, people injured, whatever it is. But I think their biggest piece too is Klay Thompson. When those two are doing what those two do, threes are better than twos.
Indefensible. Indefensible in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you need to be on him. Klay Thompson can hold the ball from here and shoot from here. It does not matter. And then, like I said, Jordan Poole, I'm a very streaky, but I am a very big Jordan Poole fan. He performed last year in the playoffs. That's why he got his contract. So it will be, it's going to be interesting for sure.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah,
just get these play-in tournaments out of the way.
Yeah, get them out the way. Yeah, for sure. I got to say too, I'm kind of mad because I'm going to the Lakers game tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Playing against Minnesota. But, I would have liked to see a better game. But Rudy Gobert decides to punch his teammate in the chest and McDaniels wants to break his hand. And, so.
The wall wins every time. The wall wins every time, people. Yeah. Stop punching walls. Go punch a punching bag or something. Or a pillow. Punch a pillow.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. But, I will say one thing, though. It does make it to where Anthony Davis has to stretch the floor a little bit more on defensive wise with Karl Anthony Towns. There's not just a sitting duck in the center. So, I do think the Lakers do this every time. We have a problem with not being able to blow people out, and it probably will be a little more close than people are thinking for sure. And that's coming from me, too. So.
Okay. Now I'm worried.
It'll be a dub, but the Lakers.
Right.
This is what we do, man.
Now I got to look it up because you got me all worried now. Hold on, let me see.
I wonder what the spread is.
-8 right now, and 58% of the public is taking the +8 with Minnesota. So people are on with that as well.
I have no problem with that at all. I could see it for sure. I mean, like I said, I think I've seen one blowout this season, and that was against the Pelicans, where we did actually blow them out, and then they ended up only losing by about 13. Yeah, so.
I'm taking the -8. I'm going against the public. I think that's a no-brainer. That's a smart bet there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it just really determines on how they come out and play. We're a very streaky team to where it's like, one moment we look like we can really beat anybody. I'm not going to lie. And then the next moment, we don't. We just look like a team that falls apart. The Clippers game the other day, man. You guys are our kryptonite, and you saw it. Like, there's the teams that can put genuine good wing defenders on our team. It's hard for us to do that. And Anthony Davis was getting babied. Like, it's just the usual. There's certain games where it's like Anthony Davis looks so good and he's in the paint and he's dominant. And then there's those other games where he's taking those deep 2 mid-ranges. And it's just the most annoying thing ever. It's like, God, so we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to go one way, but yeah, we'll see. But and plus, they play really good against Memphis. They have all year. So if they can get to that spot, they have a really good chance to move on.
I agree. That was who I wanted. I wanted them or the Kings. I didn't want Denver. I didn't want the Suns. I really didn't want the Suns.
Yeah, no love for the Kings at all from anybody. But I'm telling you, they're going to be a tough out.
I'd love to see it. I'm not going to lie to you. I would have no problem seeing it. I mean, the young team, but it's just I would rather play someone that just has absolutely no experience being there.
True that.
That's how it is. On number 4, though, we're going to go head over to the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr. Pretty sure you already touched on this, but Odell Beckham Jr. to the Ravens. If you just want to rerun through your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'll be quick because I already ranted about it earlier.
Yes, I know. It's why
it doesn't do enough.
I'm like, damn it, dude. I'm like, I got to change the question.
It doesn't do enough for Lamar. I mean, yeah, they say it is. It's some leverage. Is it though? Like, yeah, they were partying last night in the club, and all that. But I think it's a money issue with Lamar, and and
it is.
Oh, wait, sorry, we'll get to that chat later.
Yeah.
Does that even matter to him? Like, is Odell Beckham now, after 2 ACLs, a really true number 1 receiver? I don't know. Like, yeah, they're friends, and I get it, and it's probably the best offer he had on the table at this point, or else he would have signed earlier, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm not touching him with a 18-foot million pull ever in fantasy. If someone wants to waste a draft pick on him, go for it. I ain't doing it.
Be my guess. Yeah.
And when he sucks the first week or two and you drop him and then I see he's going to have a good week or so, maybe I'll pick him up. But that's that's not doing it. But it's all about the money with Lamar, and it's not going to swing him one way or the other. I mean, he requested a trade for a reason. So
that was the confusing part. That's where I was so confused, where it was like, like you said, it had to be the best offer, because why would Odell Beckham Jr. want to go to that team right now? I mean, it was Lamar wasn't coming out, and I know this has been said by Lamar and by people in the Ravens organization that they need to get a true number 1 and whatever it is, but that's not the reason he's leaving this offseason. Like you said, the reason he's leaving this offseason because of money issues, and Odell Beckham Jr. coming there, I don't think that makes it to where we're just now going to magically pay Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. It's a weird move. As a Steelers fan, go right ahead, have Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. It also doesn't even make him a favorite, even with Lamar Jackson, to even make the conference championship, let alone the Super Bowl. You're still in the roughest freaking conference in the NFL. And it's like, and the Bengals in that, it's just,
it's tough, man. And it's like you said too, how many games are you really going to get out of Odell Beckham Jr.? I mean, I pray for a healthy season. I really do. I never pray for anybody to get hurt, but it's like, an ACL surgery twice, man. I mean, that is I'm pretty sure same knee. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say same knee. But I mean, that's tough, dude. That's not just, your number 1 wide receiver should not be coming back from 2 ACL tears. If he's your 2 or your 3 or whatever it is, then yeah, I mean, I'll take Odell Beckham Jr. Just
and older than 30.
Exactly. That's your number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ravens, in my opinion, dude, blow it up. I mean, blow it up. Lamar wants out. Yeah. You're prolonging it, and it's becoming a problem. And I just think that John Harbaugh should know better than this, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's not always up to the head coach in these situations,
for sure.
It's all politics and everything up there in the GM office. So, which is exactly what I think this is. But again, doesn't make a difference to me otherwise. And he's just a big name because of what he's done. And you could do one-handed catches by yourself on TikTok all you want.
Exactly.
But in our NFL game on a Sunday, after 2 ACLs, not playing in an NFL game that mattered for over a year against a coverage, especially in a rough North in the AFC, it's going to be tough. That's how I look at it.
Well, I will say, so the 5th question we pretty much already touched on, so I don't know if you want to even touch on it. It was our thoughts on UFC 287, and it was, will Pereira move up to light heavyweight? I don't know if you want to retouch on it or if you just want to skip the question because we did kind of already touch on it. It's up to you.
To be honest with you, until you brought it up, I wasn't really thinking of that, but I really like that move for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him dominating that division because it's kind of, there's really no true hill. It's like, that's it.
Exactly, for sure.
So I think it's a good spot for him, and he easily could. And you're right, not having the extra stress of having to drop the weight.
Mm-hmm.
With his size already,
the big dude,
and if automatically he's going to get number 1 or number 2 contender in the in the light heavyweight. So yeah, go for it.
I think that if he moves there, he can be in that champ spot for a decent amount of time. Par John Jones moving back down to light heavyweight or something like that. I think he can really dominate that division. And I think it's a smarter move for him. When it comes to the Izzy fight, I think it's like, I understand he just beat you and you beat him 3 times and you probably want your revenge, but how many times are we going to do this? You know what I mean? At some point, let's just worry about you, go worry about yourself. Because if you do lose to Izzy again, then I'm not going to say the same thing right now about going to light heavyweight and you being in that spot.
Yep. Take advantage of the situation while you have it.
Exactly. So, people are still giving you the benefit of the doubt.
He was winning that fight until he
100%
took that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, that's all we got.
Cool. Well, hey, man. I hope you had a really good Easter weekend and with the family and everything, and enjoy the Lakers game tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I will be down in LA next week.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it, man.
We may have a little visit, so we'll see what's going on.
Will.
We'll get the Monday Night Rants crew together.
Yeah, we got
Heavy T as well.
It's going to be a goated picture, man.
It's going to be a goated picture indeed. All right, my friend. Well, have a good night. Enjoy baseball games, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you, sir. All right, Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Always good. Great questions, as always. Bringing up some things I didn't even think about. I went, whoa, maybe he's right on there. And there's why. We have one more segment tonight, and it's a good one. I like to do this every year, especially with fantasy baseball. It's called Believe It or Not. And what it is, it's the players who are off to a really good start in Major League Baseball. Do I believe it? Or I don't. Believe it or not. Seinfeld reference for you out there. But one player in minor league baseball is crushing. If you believe in the WRC plus, he currently holds a 231. He has 7 home runs already, 9 games, 6 in a row, 15 RBIs, crushing almost every category in AAA baseball right now. Now, we've seen this before with Mr. Joe Adell. That's right, Joe Adell for Heavy T's, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So before we go into Believe It or Not, after this break, a quick commercial break. Commercials. What am I saying? It's a quick break about the great programming you can find here on the Better Sports Network. We don't do commercials here. I feel like Scott Hansen from Red Zone right there. We'll have a quick highlight package of Joe Adell's times in the big league, and then we'll get right into Believe It or Not. After the break, Joe Adell's highlight package. Enjoy, and Believe It or Not. Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing, chop to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Bartlett picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog, Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downing, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms, and streaming live at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms as well. By the way, Heavy T was a Major League Baseball from the movie Major League Baseball movie logo on his hat. I love that. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. How did I miss that? Maybe I was just glaring into his eyes. I don't know, but I missed it. But we did promise you a video, and I want to shout this out. Heavy T put this together for me when everyone talking about all the buzz on Joe Adell in the minor leagues, AAA, what he's doing. So let's go ahead and show you a Joe Adell highlight reel from his time and service in Major League Baseball. Heavy T, can you cue that up?
1-1. And this in the air out to right field. Adell was in, angling back. He gets there. Whoa! And he just put it right over the fence. Like a setter in volleyball. He just pushed it right over. And Solak will take the home run, his first of the year.
3 for 3 with a homer. Make it 3. Oh no, my goodness, Stefanik made the catch.
And almost had a double play out of it.
Wow, that ball popped out of Joe Adell's glove, and Michael Stefanik had the presence of mind to stick his glove out and make the play.
Wasn't quite Bob Boone and Pete Rose in a 1980 World Series game by the dugout, but pops out of the glove. Joe Adell, or actually off the chest.
For a play.
Bregman rips it into left field. Brantley being waved around. Adell's throw is way offline.
Bregman did a nice job as far as bringing his hands up through that baseball. If it flattens down in the strike zone, off balance throw.
Ooh, this one blasted fair, just past third base, and caroms out into that left field corner. And now it's lost out there briefly by Adell. Semien with great speed, rounding third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And Marcus Semien circles the bases for the first run of the game. Wow.
Is Marcus Semien ripping this ball down the left field line, and you're going to see into the corner they go. We've already seen it twice in this series where it could be a little bit tricky, and Joe Adell misses the ball and then goes to pick it up and drops it. Then he gets it in, and there was a chance to get Semien at home. They probably have Marcus Semien, but the throw's in the dirt.
All right. Joe Adell, defensive liability. I'm going to say that right now. Those are not good defensive plays for Mr. Joe Adell. Now, there's a lot of fantasy dynasty believers in him. I'll give you that. He is putting up numbers in the AAA level right now. But my goodness, is he going to be able to get at bats every day? I know there's the DH, but you also have Ohtani. Is there a world where we see Adell for the Angels being called up? Probably, but come on. Those are Bush League defensive plays there for Mr. Joe Adell. Kudos to Heavy T for putting that together. Wait, Tavares says Gold Glove in his future for sure. Yeah, what's the opposite of a Gold Glove? Like that would be. That's, my goodness. Even though he bobbled it and it is funny, it hit his glove and went over the fence. I still think the throw was the funniest one because it literally went to nobody in between catcher and first base. It was just like, what? Turn around. It was almost like when Phillip Rivers used to be like, screw it, Keenan Allen's out there somewhere, shot put. That's exactly what Adell did on that throw. There you go. So, but do I believe it or not in Joe Adell? Listen, he does have the offensive pedigree for your fantasy teams. He's a high prospect. He once was a high prospect, very valued. He could easily come up and put up some numbers for your fantasy teams. Just where are they going to play him defensively? That's the only issue with him. So kudos to him for what he's doing. But ultimately, you got to think his times may be limited there in Anaheim. And I know that Heavy T is not a fan. As being an Angels fan, that is rough.
I can tell you right now, that's an understatement. I can't stand Joe Adell, the biggest defensive liability. But you also kind of hit the hammer on the head there as well. He can't DH because Ohtani's a DH. So what do you do? Mm-hmm. So he's performing this well in AAA. You can only do one thing. The Angels need a lot of bullpen help. Trade him while his value is high. Give me somebody like we talked about it before the show. Give me someone like Daniel Bard, maybe an Aroldis Chapman, David Bednar out in Pittsburgh. Give me somebody, a couple pieces to fix this bullpen and get this man out of the farm system. I cannot stand Joe Adell. Dude cannot catch a ball to save his life. He can't react to a ball. He's throwing balls to the Astros dugout from the outfield instead of home plate. Get this dude off my team. Cannot stand him. Don't want him. It's kind of like the Mike Singletary speech. I want winners. This guy's not a winner. Get him the hell off my team. Don't want him. Get him out of here.
Welcome to Monday Night Rants with Heavy T.
Yeah.
Tell me how you really feel, Heavy T. No, we got Better Boss thinks the Angels will try to find at-bats for him. Wade Tavares says power for 30 home runs, but he'll struggle to hit the Mendoza line. So that's also not what you want. What, 30 home runs and a 200 average and literally giving up home runs with your glove? Literally? Come on now. Nick Solak hit that home run. He just got DFA'd today. He's not even on a team.
And that's the other thing, too. He was 5 feet in front of the fence. Like, it's not like he was right next to it. He was 5 feet, and his glove was below, like, the actual height of the fence. This thing pops out and goes up at an angle and goes over the fence. That doesn't happen.
You know, like they call the snow cone when you catch it in your glove, but there's
yeah,
ones
exactly.
that have like the snowball with the string on it. It's almost like it hit, but it lost its string. It just,
it's just I can't with this dude. I just can't. Every time I see him in an Angels uniform and he's playing the outfield, I lose about 3 hours of my life. It's like it's just gone, and I'm never getting it back. And
well, good news. Good news. Only 2.5 hours this year.
That does not make me feel any better. That makes me feel worse.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Joe Adell, go away.
All right. Well, Joe Adell, go away. That's going to be a new, what can we do with that? I'll find something funny with that. But, yeah. I mean, you could use the 30 home runs on the Angels, though.
I mean, yes, but, like, Trout's guaranteed for almost 30. Ohtani's going to be between 20 and 30 easily.
Yeah.
And the other guys, like Renfro's going to be good. Oh, Hoppy's really good. Like, he's kind of started on fire as the plate. Thank you for that in our league, by the way.
Told you also.
Yeah, and a couple other guys. So if Renfro picks it up,
I like
Rengifo has a little bit of pop at the plate. Jared Walsh gets back. Taylor Ward, obviously. Like, they got some bats. They just got to kind of put it together. But none of it's going to come together. And none of it's going to play out the way it's supposed to if like yesterday happens, the bullpen blows it. They were up 6-0 going into the 6th inning, give up 10 unanswered runs, then come back in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game, only to give up 2 more in the 10th because the bullpen can't stop anything. Like, can't stop a nosebleed with the biggest napkin on the face of the planet. It's like, what are we doing out here, man?
All right, so would you trade? Now we just create a whole new segment here. I'm sorry, we're just going off the rails here because I want to. Let's find some relievers that would you trade Adell straight up for Bednar?
For Bednar, I'd probably want. I mean, straight up, I'd probably want some other small thing with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would do it straight up. I actually really like Bednar. I really do.
Yeah, and the Pirates, not a lot of save opportunities this year. We would think, a restructuring team. So, but what about Chapman though? He's been pitching really good for Kansas City.
Want nothing to do with Chapman. No.
So you would keep Adell for a Chapman package.
I would find another trade partner. I want nothing to do with the Aroldis Chapman.
Okay. So let me see if I could. So Bednar you like, Chapman. You're trying to find good relievers. What team has good relievers that aren't going to be over the hump this year? Besides him, the Dodgers could be an interesting trade candidate for Adell. They have a lot of relieving arms that aren't quite closers, aren't quite, starters. Could be interesting. Like, what is it? Gratterall?
That's an interesting one. I would trade him back. I would trade him to the Braves to get Raisel Iglesias back.
Ooh.
And the Braves wouldn't do it.
No way.
But I would take Iglesias back.
Would you take Minter?
I really like Minter. I would take Minter. That'd be fine. I would take him. I'm trying to think who else is really good. And that's the other thing about Joe Adell too, is that I think he needs to start off somewhere new. There's no room anymore for him in the Angels system. I don't think they really have plans for him now that Ohtani's the permanent DH. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, the fan base hates him. They've churned on him with all his defensive problems. They do not like him. Like, there's one page I see on Twitter that whenever they put Joe Adell highlights, they just get bashed because everybody hates him. I even have it in my Twitter bio. It says known Joe Adell hater. It's in there. Okay, I hate the guy.
We just saw the highlights from his. So I can imagine seeing those videos would be a little frustrating for Angels fans.
Now imagine seeing those in person. Like, oh my goodness, man. I just can't do it. But yeah, I mean, as far as other pitchers go, the Dodgers have some interesting arms. But then again, you're trading with the team that's like 30 minutes down the street. I don't know if you want to do that. Let me think. Who else has some really good arms? They would doubt they would ever give any of these dudes away. But I love the guys in the Astros bullpen. They have some really good arms over there. But I don't think the Astros would give any of those dudes up. And I have one dude specifically. I would love Rafael Montero. I would love to have him on there. But they just paid him, so there's no way they'll give him up.
Yeah. And plus, where is he going to play on the Astros? What are the Astros going to do with Joe Adell? Nothing.
So you have left. They do have a center field issue. So you could move Tucker to center field. You could put Joe Adell in right. That would be an option. Hopefully Houston doesn't know about his defensive liabilities yet. But that would be an option. You could do that. Now, this would be an interesting one. I would take a flyer. I know you're not high on it.
Ugh.
I would take a flyer on Daniel Bard in Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, he had a good year last year, obviously.
He started pretty well this year.
He did. I don't think he's in spring training. I don't think he started the season because he had that anxiety issue or something that's forced him out.
I could have sworn he pitched like the other day. Maybe I was wrong.
He could be back. I'm not sure, but I know Pierce Johnson, ex-Padre, has been closing games for the Rockies over the course of the first 2 weeks. So, but I mean, he is lights out. He is a strikeout first pitcher with Bard. He can get wild at times. That's why he lost his starting ability and injuries. And remember, he left the game already for like a year and a half and then came back to play in Colorado for mental issues already.
Yeah, it's true. Also, I just looked up his age. I did not realize he was 37.
Yeah, he's not.
Okay, so let's punt that idea.
let's squash the Daniel Bard idea.
Yeah, let's squash that idea. I'm not feeling too good about that. But I'm sure there's some good arms out there that I would gladly take back. Like I said, we mentioned Bednar. Minter would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the Dodgers, I doubt they'd give up that young closer. His name's escaping me at the moment. I can't remember his name. I doubt they'd give him up. But yeah, there's arms out there, and there's a team out there that would take a risk on Joe Adell. And like I said,
definitely.
I think it's time for both sides to just have a fresh start. I don't think he's going to do well in Anaheim. He's going to have all that pressure coming back. I don't think the Angels really want him anymore. Just get rid of him. Just trade him away. And you know what? Hopefully they do, because his stock could not be any higher. But as far as my evaluation of him, he's a quadruple A guy. Kills it in AAA, can't do it in the majors. He's somewhere in the middle.
Seems almost like what CJ Abrams is doing. Every time he goes to AAA, he crushes, and then he comes to Major League. I know it's a short still. He kind of just can't get it together. I hate those guys. And they go to AAA, and it's like, oh, we're going to hit 30 bombs, 100 RBIs, it'd be great. And then you're batting 200 in Major League. It's like
it's the ultimate tease, man. It's ugly, and I hate it, but it's the ultimate tease.
So we'll see where he goes. I think there's a good argument you make on trading him for some relievers there, because hey, your Angels are off to a decent start.
So 5-4 should be 6-3 after yesterday, but 5-4, and I believe I want to say they have the night off tonight. No, they do play tonight. I believe they're against the Nationals tonight.
Yeah, Nationals at the Angels. I took the Nationals at half a unit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't agree with that. Yeah, so they have an interesting little test. So they have the Nationals, then they're on the road in Boston, and then they go to the Yankees right after.
Ooh.
And yeah, the Yankees won. And the funny thing is that if anybody remembers last season, of course, those only Angel fans do, but this is where they struggled last year. They started off with a 3-game loss to Toronto and then lost 14 straight. And it included Boston, the Yankees. I think the Mets might have been in there. The Dodgers were in there. It was a rough schedule. Phillies were in there. I remember that because they had like a crazy walk-off win. So, yeah, the Angels are – yeah, they're a team. We could say that about them. They're a team.
That starts with an A.
Yeah, they're a team that starts with an A, and we'll leave it at that.
I love to see this, too, because like every baseball fan at the beginning of the season, no matter what their team is, there are always so much high hopes, like every time. Like, no matter what. Like, even the Rangers, well, they won 3 in a row, and everyone's like, oh, then now look. You're like, it's just – it's going to be fun throughout the season by June to see how Heavy T feels about his Angels, because
I might just resort to eating pickles as some new form of torture.
He's just watching Angels games, just eating pickles to torture himself more than actually watching the game.
Just see me crying while I'm eating it. Like,
Tears,
this is my life.
Shirt off. Pickle juice everywhere.
It's not. If anybody remembers what Ben Stiller looks like at the end of Dodgeball, yeah, it's something along those lines. That's a great way of putting it.
Well, we just took the whole Believe It or Not segment and turned it into a
my bad
of Joe Adell. So we'll have to bring it back next week. I think we're almost out of time here, but man. That was enjoyable, though. That was fun. Thanks for putting that together and everything. Phillips is the young closer for the Dodgers that my mama
I would love taking Phillips. I would love to take him.
Put in the chat there. So there you go. One, but believe it or not, I do have that I want to share with you real quick. I don't know how much time we have left. I'm sure I'm going to be cut off here any minute, but let me pull it up here. I did actually get rid of it because I didn't think we'd get to it, but I do have a believe it or not that I really like, that I think will be fine. Now, Jose Siri, Jess, off to a great start. I am kind of looking at his peripherals. I do like him. However, Jose Siri on the IL, and he can't continue that. Here's what I really like. And I was talking to my friend, actually Wade, about this player over the weekend. Trevor Larnach from Minnesota. He is off to a fantastic start. He's had injury problems over his career and just trying to get consistent playing time. He seems to have it now. He's batting in the heart of the order in Minnesota. And he's off to a great start. 333 average, 5 runs, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. He seems to have put it a little bit together, lowering his strikeout rate at the same time. If you haven't already, he's only owned in like 4 to 6% of your redraft leagues. He's probably taken in your in your dynasty, you could probably trade for. But Trevor Larnach from Minnesota is, I think, someone who's going to have a really breakout year. So I do believe in Trevor Larnach this year for Minnesota. I also do believe that Bryce Terang and Joey Weimer are real things in Milwaukee. I'm believing it with them as well. Milwaukee's bringing up their guys. They're letting them play. They're producing. Both Weimer and Terang having great starts to the season as well. Owned more than Larnach, by the way. Larnach should be higher round. I'm not believing in Francisco Alvarez. I don't think he's going to stay on the team long-term, get sent back down again probably, and you have to deal with that. Anyways, we'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. Monday Night Rants, the Better Sports Network. Boom.